Spangler was an American dancer, part-time actress, and model. And she used to live with her 5-year-old daughter Christine, her mother Florence, her sister-in-law Sophie, and her brother Edward in Los Angeles, California. And in the year 1942, she got married to Dexter Banner, who was a manufacturer, but the two actually got divorced shortly after in 1946. Jean had been trying to get her foot in the door into Hollywood, and even though she was a small-time actress, she was very beautiful, and she had a huge desire to make it big. And she was well known in the inner circles of Los Angeles for her glamour and her grace. But on the fateful day of October 7th, 1949 at 5 p.m., she left her house, which was in Wilshire Boulevard, and she talked to her sister-in-law Sophie before she left, asking her to watch her daughter Christine while she went to meet her ex-husband and have a discussion about child support payments. Now, you're probably thinking going to do such a simple thing wouldn't cause a lot of drama at all, right? Right, and you would usually be right, but this time you're not, because Jean Spangler never returned home. In fact, she was last seen by a clerk of a local store, and he remembered seeing her on that day and said she appeared to be waiting for someone, but after that, she was never seen again by anyone. So at this point, police registered her as a missing person the next day. The hunt and investigation for Miss Jean started in full swing, and police tried to put together the possibilities of what happened and examine the involvement of her ex-husband Dexter Banner. But this was to no avail, because Dexter said she never visited him that day, and not even that, just that she also had not even talked to him in several weeks. And Dexter's new wife, who he had been married to for about a month, confirmed that Dexter was with her indeed at the time of Jean's disappearance. So if Jean did not leave the house that day to meet Dexter, then where did she go? And at this point, the hunt was on. Glamour Girls Body Hunted was making the headlines in the newspapers. And 2 days later, her purse was found near the Ferndale entrance. And the straps were torn on one of the sides of it, which made it look as if someone had snatched it right from her. But there was no money in it, so, I guess putting those two together, it must have been a robbery. But for Jean, this was actually not an unusual thing. In fact, she hadn't carried any money that day. So that actually turned down the possibility of it being a robbery. And approximately 60 police officers and over 100 volunteers searched over 16.5 kilometers of natural terrain park where no further clues were unearthed. However, what made the investigation more complex, and this case all the more mysterious, was that what was found inside her purse, and what was found was a note. Now, the note was addressed to a man named Kirk, and the words that were found in Jean Spangler's note just 2 days before her mysterious disappearance said that she could not wait any longer and she was going to see Dr. Scott. And then the note ended with a comma. So it would seem that she wrote it in a hurry and then stopped midway through for some particular reason. So this note talked about a man named Dr. Scott, but no man with this name existed in Jean's life. And at this point, the investigation led into several different directions, and according to her mother, Jean was meeting someone named Kirk, and he had even picked Jean up from her house a couple of times, but remained in the car every single time. Actor Kirk Douglas, who also starred in the movie Young Man with the Horn, was actually vacationing in Palm Springs at the time of the disappearance. So when questioned by the head of the investigation team, he denied knowing Jean as a person at all. Then Robert Cummings, the star of Pretty Girl, had been working on trying to shed some light on the situation, and he recalled a conversation that he had with Jean, in which she mentioned she had a new romance in her life. Even though it wasn't serious, but she seemed very ecstatic, and Kirk, who Jean was referring to, was never to be found as well. Then, on the other hand, some of Jean's really close friends claimed that Jean was 3 months pregnant at the time, right at her disappearance, and this boosted the chances of the possibility that she was planning to visit a doctor to get the baby aborted, which was illegal at that time. So the police started scattering out and looking for a clue, and all of them met with doctors with the last name Scott around Los Angeles. But Jean had never visited any of them. So police also looked for a medical student infamously known as Doc, who helped with abortions, but all of those efforts led to no substantial clues or breakthroughs once again. Then there was this theory that said Jean had eloped with Davey Ogle, and Davey was the assistant of mobster Mickey Cohen, and had disappeared exactly 2 days after Jean. So it was believed that Jean and Davey disappeared willfully to avoid prosecution for conspiracy. Now, this remains a possibility, but could absolutely not be proved. After this, Jean's case got nationwide media attention, and a generous reward at that time of $1,000 was promised by columnist Luella Parsons for information regarding Jean's disappearance and for her location. But this also did not turn up anything, and yet the case still remains a mystery. After this, there were rumors of sightings of Jean in Northern and Southern California, along with Mexico City, Phoenix, and Arizona, and this went on over the next 2 years of her disappearance, but none of them were ever validated. And many people claim to have spotted Jean since her disappearance in 1949, although none of them were able to be verified. But in 1950, a customs agent claimed to have seen Davey and Jean together in an El Paso hotel. Plus, even the hotel clerk identified a photograph of Jean and confirmed that a lady looking extremely similar to that picture was indeed in the hotel. However, the hotel register never had any names either of Davey or Jean. Now, from this, many other theories were put forward, including that Jean was killed by this mysterious Kirk person when she tried to blackmail him, or that she was killed in a mob hit with Davey Ogle, and now shares the same grave with him and Frank Nicoli in the desert near Palm Springs. And then another theory was that Jean was killed by her ex-husband. And then another theory was that Jean's old lover, Scotty, returned and killed her in a fit of rage and jealousy. As you can see, these go on and on. But none of these theories could ever answer any questions like these. What is she avoiding being detected from? And was it really Jean Spangler who was in that hotel? Who was Kirk? Who did Jean meet on that fateful day of October 7th? Where is Jean currently? What happened that she had to leave her daughter Christine, for whom she also fought a custody battle for 2 years? Where is she? I mean, this case still remains open with the LAPD, and Jean Spangler to this day is still missing. But either way, there are some times where I'm going to do these missing person cases and we're just not going to figure it out. Maybe you know more than me. And if you do, and you know anything extra about this case, or you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments right now and let me know what you think. But thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please take a moment to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And most importantly, you know what I'm going to say, please share this video with everyone that you know through your social medias, whatever. Just share it. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm to try to get this channel out there. So thank you guys for all that you do. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.